I welcome you all for Standard 6 General Science. Students, we will be doing with chapter number 14, Light and the Formation of Shadows. My name is Ms. Jagjeet Kaur. So before starting with the chapter, let us see what are the learning objectives. So students, you will be learning about luminous and non-luminous objects in this chapter. Then you will be understanding about the propagation of light and the reflection of light. And also you will be understanding about the reflection in a plane mirror. And you will be understanding about a pinhole camera and how it is made. And the different types of material, that is whether the material is transparent, opaque and translucent. Then we will also be understanding about the formation of shadows, then about sundial and Raman effect and the Newton's disk. Students, can you tell that can we see anything in total darkness? Correct. In total darkness, we cannot see anything due to the absence of light. Now, can you tell that what helps us to see the objects around us? Yes, correct. Every object reflects some amount of light. When light from a light source falls on an object, it is thrown back from the surface of that object, and this reflected light helps us to see the objects around us. Now the last question, what does the light in each one of the pictures shown originate from? Yes, the light in the pictures originate from sun, electric bulb, firefly and the flame of a candle. Now let us understand what are luminous and non-luminous objects. So students, objects which emit light on their own are called as luminous objects. And they can be natural or man-made objects, and also objects which emit light naturally are called natural sources of light. For example, sun, stars, firefly, glowing jellyfish. And also man-made objects or materials which emit light are called artificial source of light. For example, torch, electric bulb, candle, lantern. Now about non-luminous objects. Objects which cannot emit light on their own are called as non-luminous objects. For example, duster, fan, water bottle. Now students, you may have seen in the afternoon rays of light entering through a slit in a door or a small hole in the roof. As these rays of light from the slit or the hole move towards the floor, the dust particles in their way are seen clearly. Due to these particles, the path of the light becomes visible, and we can see that their path is along straight lines. So it is said that light travels in a straight line, and this is called linear propagation of light. Now let's try this to understand propagation of light. Take 3 cardboards and make a small hole in the center of each cardboard using a thick needle. Then arrange the cardboards in such a way that the 3 holes are in the same line. Then stand a burning candle on one side of the cardboards and look at the flame of the candle from the other side. So do you see the flame? Yes, we can see the flame. Now move any one of the cardboards. Why can you not see the flame? Correct. Light travels in a straight line. So when any one of the cardboard is moved, the light rays do not pass through the cardboard. So as a result, we cannot see the flame. Now let's try the another activity also. Take a straight tube that can be bent easily as shown in the figure. Then place a burning candle on a stand and look at it through the tube. Then bend the tube and look at the candle again. So what do you see? Yes, after bending the tube, we can see the inner surface of the tube but not the flame of the tube. So it is proved that light travels in a straight line. Now let's understand about reflection of light. The property of light rays to bounce back from the surface of an object is called reflection of light. And we are able to see an object when the light rays reflected from the object enter our eyes. And sun rays are reflected from the surface of the moon. These rays reach our eyes, making the moon visible, and this light is called moonlight. And when the surface of a reflecting object is smooth and shiny, we can see our reflection, that is image in that. For example, plain mirror. Students, can you tell that in which objects do we see a reflection? Yes, reflection is the image of an object formed due to bouncing back of the light rays from the surface of object, and reflection is formed in objects whose surfaces are smooth and shiny as mirror. Now, what is the difference between an object and its reflection, and what causes the difference? Yes, the reflection of the object is a laterally inverted image, that is lateral inversion. Now, what is lateral inversion? The interchange of the left and right sides in the image of an object in a plane mirror is called the lateral inversion. And the reflection of an object depends on the reflective property of the surface. Thus, the reflected light rays and nature of the surface causes this difference in the actual object and its reflection. Now students, let us understand how the images are formed in a plane mirror. Now for that, we can have an activity. You can stand in front of the mirror and look at your image in it. Now, raise your right hand. Which hand of the mirror image is raised? Correct. The left and right sides of an object appear to be interchanged in the image formed by a mirror. So, when you raise your right hand, left hand of the mirror image is raised. Now tell me that what change do you see in the image if you decrease or increase your distance from the mirror? Yes, as we decrease our distance from the mirror and we go close to it, the image also comes closer by the same distance. And similarly, as we increase the distance from the mirror and go farther away from it, the image also goes far away by the same distance. And in both the cases, the size of the image remains the same as our size. Now the next question, is there any difference between your height and height of the mirror image? Correct. No, there is no difference between our height and the height of our image in the mirror. So we can say that the image formed in a plane mirror is as far behind the mirror as the object in front of it. And the size of the image formed in the mirror is same as that of the object, and the left and right sides of an object appear to be interchanged in the image formed by a mirror. Now let's understand about a pinhole camera. A pinhole camera is the simplest camera which can be made from a cylindrical box and white paper. On one end of the cylindrical box, a small hole is made, and on the opposite end of the box, a white paper is attached. An object is placed in front of pinhole camera, and light reflected from object enters the box through the small hole, and an inverted image of the object is formed on the white paper. A natural pinhole camera can be observed when we walk under a tree in the afternoon. Sunlight entering from gaps between the leaves forms image on the ground. Students, can you tell what difference do you notice on looking through the windows in the picture, and what causes the difference? Yes, from the first window we can see the outer view clearly, and from the second window the view is not so clear. From the third window we cannot see anything. So the difference in the view is caused due to the difference in the surfaces of the windows. Now students, all materials do not allow light to pass through completely, and the material through which light passes is said to be a transparent material, whereas the material through which light passes partially is said to be a translucent material, and the material through which light does not pass is said to be an opaque material. Now let's understand about the formation of shadow. Now when an opaque object comes in the way of a light source, light does not pass through it. As a result, a dark region is created on the other side of the object, and this dark region is called the shadow of the object. And the formation of shadows depends on the relative positions of the source of light, object, and the surface on which shadow is formed. And the shape and size of the shadow formed changes if the position of the object or the source of light is changed. Now, what is a sundial? Shadow plays an important role in measuring time, and a sundial is an instrument that indicates time with the help of the extent and the direction of the shadow of an object formed in sunlight. In earlier days, time was measured by placing a stick parallel to the axis of the earth and by noting the position of its shadow on the dial at different times of the day. And the largest sundial is at Jantar Mantar, which is in New Delhi. Now let's understand about Raman effect. Indian scientist Sir C.V. Raman presented his research regarding the scattering of light called Raman effect. Now, the Raman effect is the process of scattering of light particles by molecules of a medium, and the scattering occurs due to a change in the wavelength of light as it enters the medium. And he discovered this effect on 28th February 1928. And to pay honor to his work, this day is celebrated as National Science Day since 1987 in India. Now, what is Newton's disk? Sir Isaac Newton made a circular disk containing of 7 colors of rainbow. When this disk is rotated fast, the color of the disk appears to be white. Thus, Newton proved that white light contains 7 colors. Now, students, always remember that the shape of a shadow depends upon the source of light, the object, and the surface on which it is formed. We should not get frightened by the shadows we see at night because there is simple science behind that. So students, this was the end of the chapter. Now let us summarize what we have learnt in this chapter. So we learned that objects which emit light on their own are called luminous objects. And the objects which emit light naturally are called natural source of light. Man-made objects or materials which emit light are called artificial source of light. And objects which cannot emit light on their own are called non-luminous objects. Light travels in a straight line and this is called linear propagation of light. Then the property of light rays to bounce back from the surface of an object is called reflection of light. The interchange of the left and right sides in the image of an object in a plane mirror is called the lateral inversion. And the image formed in a plane mirror is as far behind the mirror as the object in front of it. And the size of the image formed in the mirror is same as that of the object. And the left and right sides of an object appear to be interchanged in the image formed by a mirror. A pinhole camera is the simplest camera which can be made from a cylindrical box and white paper. A natural pinhole camera can be observed when we walk under a tree in the afternoon, and sunlight entering from gaps between the leaves forms image on the ground. And the material through which light passes is said to be a transparent material, and the material through which light passes partially is said to be a translucent material. Then the material through which light does not pass is said to be an opaque material. And when an opaque object comes in the way of a light source, light does not pass through it. As a result, a dark region is created on the other side of the object. And this dark region is called the shadow of the object. A sundial is an instrument that indicates time with the help of the extent and the direction of the shadow of an object formed in sunlight. The Raman effect is the process of scattering of light particles by molecules of a medium, and Isaac Newton proved that white light contains 7 colors. Thank you, dear students.